Can breathing have a price? Can sunlight, something that belongs to no one day become a line item in the state's treasury? These questions may sound like the opening of a dystopian science fiction film. Yet history tells us something far more unsettling. Real power does not reside in money itself, but in the control of the essential resources people need in order to survive. Just as water, once considered sacred, now trades on stock exchanges as a financial commodity, history reveals that states, desperate to service their debts, have not hesitated to place a price even on light itself. Today, we uncover how 17th and 18th century England and France plunged entire societies into darkness, and how the window tax transformed property, existence, and survival into financial instruments. This is not merely a story about taxation, it is an autopsy of how systems convert necessity into leverage. This story begins with the painful birth of the modern financial system. In 1694, England was at war with France, and its gold reserves were rapidly depleting. King William III turned to merchants to refill the treasury, leading to the founding of the Bank of England. But for this new system to function, the state needed a permanent and reliable stream of revenue to service its growing debts. At the time, income tax was considered an unacceptable invasion of privacy. For a free Englishman, the government asking how much he earned was intolerable. So the system searched for a different metric, one that could be measured from the outside, one that could not be hidden, one that could not be escaped. And it found the answer on the exterior walls of people's homes: windows. Introduced in 1696, the window tax required homeowners to pay taxes based on the number of windows in their houses. The logic appeared simple. Wealthy individuals lived in larger homes, and larger homes had more windows. But this crude accounting logic ignored a fundamental truth. Light and air are not luxuries, they are biological necessities. To increase efficiency and maintain creditworthiness, the state transformed nature's free gift into a financial product. Some researchers interpret this as an attempt by the government to preserve its fiscal reputation by effectively collateralizing the population's quality of life. The public reaction was both tragic and deeply revealing. Unable to afford the tax, people began bricking up their windows. Across England, streets filled with ghostly homes, blind structures with sealed openings, cut off from sunlight and fresh air. Even today, these bricked-up windows can still be seen in historic neighborhoods, standing as silent monuments to a society that chose darkness in order to escape the system's grip. The phrase daylight robbery entered the language during this period, born from the literal theft of light by the state. Inside these homes, sunlight was replaced by dampness, fresh air by stagnation, and health by decay. To ensure the continuity of debt, the system forced civilization itself into physical regression. Bricking up windows was not merely an architectural adjustment, it was proof that property rights and human dignity had become secondary to state debt. In France, a similar logic was applied through the gabelle, the infamous salt tax. Salt, essential for survival, became one of the most reliable revenue sources precisely because people could not live without it. The window tax operated on the same mechanism of necessity. Light and air were reduced to data points, indicators of a homeowner's capacity to pay. The cost of this darkness was severe. Medical records from the period show that diseases such as typhus, cholera, and smallpox spread far more rapidly during the years the window tax was enforced, due to inadequate ventilation and lack of sunlight. People were forced to sacrifice their health to protect their right to breathe. History shows us that once a system becomes dependent on debt, real production ceases to be the priority. Instead, refinancing the debt becomes the primary objective, and in this process, even the most basic human needs are transformed into levers of control. Today, we no longer brick up our windows, but we are still taxed through new windows the system has made unavoidable. Many analysts compare modern digital surveillance systems and programmable money to the window tax of the 18th century. Just as windows were counted then, today every digital step, every transaction, and every interaction becomes a taxable data point. If resources such as internet access, digital identity, or energy are essential for survival, the system will inevitably find a way to control and monetize them. Climate policy and carbon taxation form the modern chapters of this story. Today, it is no longer just windows that are monetized. Even the traces we leave in the air are turned into financial instruments. Trillion-dollar carbon markets are constructed as the modern price of breathing and producing. History whispers that the mindset which taxed light in 1696 rhymes perfectly with the mindset that now taxes carbon or data. The system always finds a new anchor of necessity. Yesterday it was salt, today it is energy and digital access. Tomorrow it may be carbon credits or digital identity itself. So is there a way out of this cycle? Should we, like the villagers who bricked up their windows, attempt to escape the system altogether? History offers a subtle answer. True freedom begins with minimizing your dependency on the system and understanding the mechanisms of illusion it operates through. The man who sealed his windows was sending a clear message. I do not need you. I can survive even in the dark. Today, that message can only be delivered by creating real value outside centralized debt structures. Never forget this. The system sells you comfort and speed, but the price is often your most fundamental freedoms. What was destroyed in 1873 was not just silver, and what was bricked up in 1696 was not just windows. It was humanity's access to what should have remained free. The more essential something is, the easier it becomes to turn it into a tool of control. In 1873, what was truly killed was not silver, it was choice. Markets will always recover, states will always invent new taxes, but once the soul of money is sold, no treasure has yet been discovered that can buy it back. If light and air can be taxed, what else can be quietly priced tomorrow? If survival depends on systems you cannot avoid, how free are you really? And if history keeps rhyming, are we already paying the modern price of breathing? History has answers. I merely show you where to look. And if this deep financial journey has given you a new perspective, like the video and subscribe, because the real story begins the moment you recognize the system you are living inside.